The world news. It's time to turn promises into action. That's the goal for officials from more than 190 countries gathering in Brazil today for day one of COP30. The leaders at the climate summit taking place in Belem on the edge of the Amazon rainforest will be thrashing out ways to agree on tougher plans to cut greenhouse gas emissions. Well, a notable absence today will be the US. The fate of the Paris Climate Agreement will also take centre stage at the meeting. There have been mixed results since the landmark deal to keep average temperatures 1.5 degrees below pre-industrial levels was clinched 10 years ago. Well, let's cross live to Oniszko, who is joining us from Rio in Brazil. He's our France 24 correspondent there. Jan, bring us up to speed with what we can expect from day one of the summit today.
Well, last week it was the turn of heads of state at their summit to discuss climate change. And today, officially, as you say, COP30 begins. 194 countries are taking part, sending ministers and high-level officials to discuss just what can be done to tackle the climate emergency facing the planet. Plenty on the agenda. Top of it is how to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Now, greenhouse gases are the main driver of global warming, and they're mostly emitted when fossil fuels are burnt. And as you say, back in Paris 10 years ago, an agreement was made to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade. Well, I'm afraid that limit has already been breached. It was breached last year. 2024 was the hottest year on record. And it may well be breached again this year, with 2025 looking to be possibly the second or third hottest on record too. They're also going to be discussing how to help the poorest nations tackle the climate crisis. In Baku last year at COP29, a very ambitious target of raising $1.3 trillion was set. They want to raise that by 2035. However, that's still only a goal on paper. Here in Belem, they'll be looking at just what progress has been made to reach that target. And they're also going to be talking about the transition away from fossil fuels to clean energy. So plenty of talk, but what about action? Well, Brazil and President Lula are hoping that this COP30 in Belem, will be known as the COP where finally those words do become action.
Obviously, a big elephant in the room today is the US not being there, not one single delegation from the country.
Absolutely. President Trump is a well-known climate skeptic. He has famously said that worries about climate change are a socialist hoax, and he's actively and aggressively trying to expand the use of fossil fuels, as I say, one of the main drivers of global warming. He's including even trying to encourage some countries to buy more American oil and gas using his tariffs as leverage. And he also took the US out from the Paris Agreement yet again when he took office earlier this year. So for some climate activists, they're actually relieved that he's not in Belem, that the US aren't represented and are not there to destroy the talks. At the same time, the US is the richest nation in the world. It's also one of the biggest polluters in the world. And without them engaged, it's difficult to see how words can be turned into action. And especially given that there is a feeling that the global north generally is less engaged with climate change and how to avert a climate disaster. The feeling is that they've got other priorities on their agenda. So really, it's going to be difficult to see how Brazil, how President Lula can achieve his dream and make this COP30 the one where these words do turn into action.
That is the goal today. Jan, thank you so much for that update. Oniszko reporting live there from Rio de Janeiro.